Dr. Kale Marchenko floated through the observation deck of the Frontier's Edge, his magnetic boots clicking softly against the metallic floor. Through the reinforced viewport, the swirling amber clouds of Titan 7 stretched endlessly, punctuated by electrical storms that could vaporize a shuttle in seconds. But his attention wasn't on the planet. It was on the creature in Medical Bay 3. The Velarin female had been found drifting in an escape pod near the disputed zone, territory both the Terran Coalition and the Velarin Concordat claimed. Her ship had been destroyed, crew scattered across the void. She was the only survivor, and according to every regulation in the book, she should have been transferred to the nearest Coalition military vessel for interrogation. Instead, Kale had brought her aboard his research station. "You're going to get court-martialed," said Commander Torres, appearing beside him with 2 cups of synthetic coffee. Her dark eyes reflected the storm below. "Probably," Kale agreed, taking the cup. The liquid was bitter, grown from engineered bacteria in the hydroponics bay. "But she's dying, Maria. The pod's life support had been failing for days. Another hour and—" He didn't finish. They both knew what happened when a Velarin's neural chemistry destabilized, a cascade failure that turned their incredibly complex brains into organic sludge. The Velarin were among the most intelligent species humanity had encountered, their minds capable of processing data streams that would overwhelm quantum computers, but that complexity came with fragility. "The Concordat will say we captured her," Torres said. "Tortured her." "Maybe." "Let them say it." Kale's jaw tightened. "I'm a xenobiologist, not a soldier, and she's a patient, not a prisoner." The Velarin, her designation translated roughly as crystalline thought ascending, had regained consciousness 6 hours ago. Kyle had watched through the observation window as her chromatic skin shifted through colors that indicated confusion, then fear. Her people communicated partly through bioluminescent patterns, a language far more nuanced than human speech could ever be. When he'd entered the medical bay, her 3 prismatic eyes had fixed on him with what the translation algorithms identified as terminal resignation. The patterns rippling across her elongated form pulsed deep violet, the color of accepted death. She'd expected him to kill her. The wars between humanity and the Velarin Concordat had been brutal. 3 colony worlds burned, millions dead on both sides, treaties signed and broken. The hatred ran deep, coded into propaganda and political rhetoric. To her, he must have seemed like death itself, a human in a sterile room with the power to end her life. Instead, Kale had adjusted her IV drip, recalibrated her atmospheric mix to match Velarin specifications, and synthesized medication for her neural stabilization. He'd worked through the night, cross-referencing xenobiological databases, making educated guesses where data was incomplete. Now, approaching the medical bay again, he carried something else, a small transparent case containing a sample of Melodia luminaris, a bioluminescent fungus native to Earth's deep caves. The doors hissed open. Crystalline thought ascending lay on the adaptive gel bed, her body's patterns muted, exhausted grays and browns. But when Kale entered, a flash of violet returned, that expectation of death. "I'm not here to hurt you," Kale said, knowing the translator embedded in the wall would convert his words into chemical signals she could perceive through her sensory membranes. "I brought you something." He opened the case. The fungus glowed with soft blue light, its patterns shifting in response to the new environment. It was harmless, beautiful, one of Kale's favorite specimens from his personal collection. Crystalline thought ascending's patterns froze. Then, slowly, colors began to shift across her skin. The translation algorithms struggled, spitting out fragments. Confusion, wonder, impossible beauty, human contradiction. "It's from my homeworld," Kyle explained, placing the case on a nearby surface where she could see it. "Earth. We have bioluminescence too, though nothing as sophisticated as your people's communication. I thought—" He paused, feeling suddenly foolish. "I thought you might appreciate it. Something living and beautiful, instead of just medical equipment." Her eyes tracked between him and the glowing fungus. The patterns on her skin began to accelerate, colors Kale had never seen in the databases. The algorithms went wild with translations, incomprehensible kindness, paradigm breaking, grief for assumptions proven false. "You expected me to torture you," Kale said quietly. It wasn't a question. Her patterns confirmed it. Slowly, painstakingly, she began to emit sequences that the translator rendered as crude approximations. War, hate, human reputation, expected pain, expected death, deserved death, failed mission, lost crew, captured by enemy. "You're not an enemy right now," Kale said, pulling up a chair. "Right now you're a patient, a person, someone who survived something terrible and needs help healing." Why? The pattern was stark, cutting through all the complexity, a single fundamental question. Kale thought about that, about the colony worlds, the political rhetoric, the cycles of revenge, about the ease with which beings reduced each other to abstractions, enemy, alien, threat, about how hard it was to remember that every ship in every battle contained individuals with thoughts, fears, hopes. "Because I've spent my career studying xenobiology," he finally said. "Learning about how different life can be, how many ways consciousness can manifest in the universe. And every time I study a new species, I'm amazed. Your people's neural architecture alone, it's beautiful, terrifying in its complexity, but beautiful. How could I see that beauty and then cause harm?" He gestured to the fungus. "That's Melodia luminaris. It grows in caves so deep that sunlight has never touched them. But it creates its own light, its own beauty in absolute darkness. Life finds ways to persist, to create meaning, even in the harshest conditions. Your survival pod, drifting in the void, you did the same thing. You persisted." Crystalline thought ascending's patterns had shifted to colors the database labeled as profound contemplation. For several minutes she was silent, her chromatic skin rippling through sequences too complex for the algorithms to parse. Then slowly, deliberately, she emitted a new pattern. The translator struggled, then offered gratitude beyond language, hope where none existed, human who sees persons not enemies. You have given delight where death was certain. Kale felt something tighten in his chest. "You're welcome," he said simply. "Will they come for me?" her patterns asked. "Your military?" "Probably," Kale admitted. "But I'll advocate for your return to your people under medical exchange protocols. You're not a soldier. Your ship was a research vessel according to what we recovered. Scholar to scholar, maybe we can make something better than another prisoner of war situation." Her patterns flickered with something that might have been hope. "And if they refuse? If they demand interrogation?" Kyle met her prismatic gaze steadily. "Then I'll make sure they remember you're a person first. That has to count for something." Outside, Titan 7's storms continued their eternal dance. In the medical bay, a human and a Velarin sat in companionable silence, watching bioluminescent fungus glow in the darkness. It wasn't peace, not yet, but it was a beginning. And sometimes, Kale thought, beginnings were the bravest thing you could create.